Kenwood High School. And then I was at the Dad's Club for Ariel Community Academy. So I'm always going to be involved in schools and education because these are the most important buildings in our community.
Yeah, definitely.
And so I don't want to be one of those people that show up with a bullhorn about why they're closing the school and never have met the principal.
Say that again. Right. I love it. So tell us about your church. So you, of course, you want to be in the community. And it's funny because last week, a shameless plug, my pastor, my cousin, my brother, Dr. Eric Clapton was on talking about what the healthy church looks like. So tell us about Glorious Light.
Well, we're a small church that started 9 years ago, strictly because of a calling of God and an email. So I did not have any super strategies about how to plan or get started. We just said, hey, this is where we're starting, and we prayed about it, and God has sent us a few laborers, and we've held on to this vision of making sure that we're in the community, and so we're doing okay. We're meeting at Price School now, which was closed after the 2011 school year, and CPS closed them, but we stayed. And then we created our non-for-profit, the Timothy Community Corporation. Mm-hmm. So that's where we have our programming on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, and then we have worship on Sundays.
Tell me about Timothy. Where that name come from? 2
Timothy 2:2.
Good.
And so we focus on health and wellness, performing arts, and mentoring and leadership development. And so all the things that we do in there are designed to support the community, bless the community, and so on any given week, we have hundreds of people that come in to take those activities, whether it be a spin class, yoga, Zumba. Refresh Institute is a performing arts group that they're teaching young children how to sing and play, dance, all the things in the arts. And so they're doing great things, and we're in a space now. An empty school building that, if it were not for us being there, would probably be an eyesore.
Yeah, because those schools are left unattended. The Chicago papers did a report on how schools have been abandoned. They've been closed by Chicago Public Schools, CPS, for those of you listening nationally, and, their break-ins, they become, a source of disruption in the neighborhood instead of what they used to be.
Right.
And that was a source of education and community. Okay, great. What are any events that are coming up?
Wow, there's so many. We have a grant writers workshop on the 1st for $25.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Fred, you should go to that and get us some grants.
Okay.
Before
how do you write?
See, never mind. Moving on.
Okay. I should back up, but even before that, tomorrow, there's a part 2 of a book discussion and a viewing of Hidden Colors.
Okay.
We did part 1 last week, and we're going to finish up with part 2. This is a regular book club that more than likely we're going to stick with and kind of meet on a regular basis. But before that, we talked about the book, The New Jim Crow.
How did that discussion go?
Required reading.
Absolutely. I have it.
Yeah. Oh.
I have it. I let my girlfriend borrow it, so I bought another. Okay. I bought mine electronically.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah, required reading. I just think it really paints a picture of what's wrong with our community, and to not know what's happening and to be silent about it makes us complicit, because now it shapes how I view almost anything related to poverty and violence and all that, because the new Jim Crow is creating a new type of slavery. And it's a slavery that the majority of people have become comfortable with, and therefore there's no even hope of any change, because people think it's just the way it is.
Did you ever watch the miniseries The Women of Brewster Place? They just kind of got used to what they saw. And that's what that reminded me of. Yeah. Until they finally, the wall was symbolic of them being kind of caged in, being stuck in whatever their life position was. And then finally, They just tore that wall down. Like, man.
I think about 45 when you said that wall. That's why I couldn't help but think that.
Yeah.
That wall.
Yeah, that wall.
Okay. Anyway.
And that was a thick wall.
It was. But it took all of them,
to knock it down.
All of them.
To tear it down. And so that's the same kind of thing. I think you all are doing great work. How can people connect with you on social media?
Well, first of all, we have a Facebook page called Leading with Literacy. We also have a page, Glorious Light. We have a page, the Timothy Community Corporation. Or it's just me, Michael Neal. And I love to connect with anybody that's, wants to do work in the community. We love collaborating and partnering and just, sharing ideas, learning from one another. We're excited about the direction we're headed.
Yeah, I mentioned to you today in our Facebook conversation that my family does. We stop exchanging Christmas gifts, so nobody has time for that. But what we typically do is a service project yearly. And so this year we decided to do it at Easter, but the next one that comes up, we definitely want to somehow partner with you, get you some books, because, we have enough stuff. These kids need stuff.
I can envision, you all, we could talk about it, but I can envision the whole family coming out to pass out books on a street corner in Inglewood and watch people pull up and kids get out of the cars, just the joy on their face when you give them a book.
Yeah.
And I could see the mood changing just because of this simple act of doing that.
Yeah.
And then, afterwards, if somebody really bought a lot of food and wanted to eat and grill, I'd be up for that too.
Yeah, I'm looking at the address.
Just kind of throwing it out there, Fred. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe Fred should barbecue.
Got you.
Well, or just anybody in your family. That's part of the service project.
This works. Fred can do it. Yay, cousin Fred.
Okay.
We can do that. Definitely. So people can connect with you on Facebook, Twitter?
Yes, Leading with Literacy.
Okay, everything is Leading with Literacy, kind of like a AVibrantMix. You follow us on everything at AVibrantMix. Okay. All right, great. So it's been great having you. We really appreciate what you all are doing in the community. At AVibrantMix, we're all about education, entertainment, just being the best person, most vibrant person you can be. Yeah, so we appreciate you coming on and talk about it. Stick around because I'm sure Fred has a question of the day that's what's your question of the day, Fred? What is it?
The question of the day, week of the moment. I can't say that. I can't say
say
live.
What did you say? The question of the day,
day, week,
of
moment.
The moment. You tired?
No, I'm cool.
Thanks for having me.
I'm good.
I didn't get a chance to throw that in.
What are some things that you don't say on a first date?
Now that's good. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
I love you. How about that?
Yeah.
You remind me of my ex-wife.
Oh, ex-wife. Or my first wife. My third wife.
You're right.
Shut up. Stop talking, dude. Stop talking and get up and leave.
Eat the cake, anime.
Right. What wedding colors would you choose?
Oh my gosh. So the true story. First date. My realtor friend connected me with somebody who she thought was gonna be great. I'm gonna call her and let her have it when we finish the recording. And he was nice on the phone. We had conversations, and so we finally met for a date. And he was like, "Well, you can come over here and I can drive." I was like, "I don't know you. I'm gonna drive myself." So I pull up. We meet at the restaurant. Nice, casual place. And he began to talk about how much he wanted to, be in a relationship. Okay, no problem. And he was in the process of selling his house, and he didn't want to buy another house. He was like, I was just hoping that. Now he knew that I, owned my own home and lived alone and all that fun stuff. I was hoping to meet someone who I could, move in with and take over the bills. What? Check.
Are you serious?
I'm not talented enough to have made that up.
Wow.
And I'm pretty talented.
Had y'all eaten dessert yet?
We had not. I was at the appetizer like, oh God. I could see one of my coworkers across the room, and I was like, well, at least if I have to break out of here, which would have made for an uncomfortable ride had we ridden together. Like, that's just not a policy of mine. I'm not going to get in the car with you if I don't know you like that. But yeah, he wanted to, and so of course later he said, well, I didn't mean you. Yes, you did. That's exactly what you. Who were you talking to? The shrimp on the table? Get out of here. That's exactly what you meant.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't have looked at me as deeply as you was.
Wow.
Yeah, like I was a chicken bone and you hadn't eaten in a week. I get it.
So he came in looking at that credit score. Yeah, girl.
Right.
I see you are.
And here's the thing.
Rocking them 700s.
Right. 8. But dude, you don't know me. And so when we talked about it, I said, well, if this is your plan, what if she's crazy? Like, let's say you move in and then she's nuts. She done kicked your dog. She hates your kids.
And here's the thing. If she lets you move in that quick, she is nuts.
Hello?
Yeah.
Well, everybody crazy in the house. Only the dog is sane. That's why y'all kicked him. Like, what is going on? What's the craziest thing you've heard about on a first date? Said on a first date?
It's usually people who talk about instant love, talk about how much they want to be in a relationship so bad, or talking about, like you said, exes, talking about how so and so treated me, my ex-boyfriend, my ex-girlfriend, and you don't want to hear that
At all.
You know, like on the first, like, you know, one of the shows we had prior, it's just talking about going out on the first date and just enjoying it.
Yeah.
You know, going out and talking about whatever, not necessarily talking about your job or too personal. It's just getting to know a person, getting to know how a person is. Let me see how you eat. You know, just a general conversation.
Let's have fun. You know,
Exactly. Not putting too much stock into it. Is this going to be my husband? Is this going to be my wife?
Right.
Maybe, but if you get to know them first, you'll determine what kind of marriage you have.
How much you pay on your car note? No.
Oh, that's horrible.
So is it because people just don't know how to have good conversation? They don't know. They're not well read. They don't have anything going. So
well, I think one of the things, who's really taught how to date?
I was gonna say I don't think people know.
Yeah.
Well,
and you know, to your point, it's you learn through experience, and I think usually maturity teaches you. When you're young, you don't know. It's just like guys. When we're in high school, teenager, you're kind of taught to lie to girls. Okay, to get the girl, you got to lie. You got to say you do this. You got to say you got this much money. You got to say you drive this. You got to say you got that to get the girl.
Really?
Not knowing.
Y'all are taught that?
Yeah. So then when you get older, you realize.
And don't pretend like y'all like.
Right. So
I wasn't. I can only speak for me.
You missed that meeting. Go ahead.
Right.
I did.
As you get older, you realize.
That's stupid.
I don't need to know pickup lines. I don't need to know. All I do is say, hello, how you doing? My name Fred. What your name is? That's all I need to do.
Like that.
You know, and a conversation starts.
Right.
You know.
Right.
And
Are
then
you
we
gonna
can
ask like that?
And then we can go to Harold's.
I'm down with Harold.
Yeah.
I'm of the firm belief that first dates should not be.
And that's
these
another thing.
expensive-
Now, see, I'm finna get into some more stuff.
Yeah, it shouldn't be this whole
These
exquisite.
women who need to go to these fancy restaurants on the first few dates, miss me with that. Because it ain't important.
It's almost like some false criteria that you create to really help ensure that you're not going to have another date.
Right.
Now, some people say it online to try to impress their friends, but the reality is if you go sit in the park and he buy you an ice cream, if you all sit there and talk.
And have a great conversation.
That's a date.
And ain't talking about nothing.
Right.
And you're having a great time.
Just enjoy each other's company. Like you say, get to know this person and like, man, I had a good time. And then what do we do? I don't know, but I just
talk.
I just like being in your company.
Conversation
We talked
is
about the
key.
We talked about the man feeding the birds, and we talked about the guy with the mismatched socks.
The nice weather. And
Right.
then, you know, every now and then something may come up. Oh, when I was a kid, or you know, my high school stories. So maybe that should be the new rule. Don't go to this fancy restaurant on the first date.
I agree with that. I always looked at it from the perspective of, you know, having close cousins and a brother. I wouldn't have wanted, my brother's gone to be with Jesus and he wouldn't come back if you asked him. But if he were dating and looking for a wife, I wouldn't want him going broke trying to interview because essentially you're trying to, just like you said, get to know the person.
And then,
let's go to Starbucks. Have a bagel. Do they serve bagels at Starbucks? Whatever. Go to a coffee shop. Have something simple and talk. Movies are not places for first dates.
No.
Because now you're sleepy.
You ain't talking.
Right.
Yeah, because I'm waiting for talking through the movie.
Right.
You'll be fine. I'm missing it.
Right.
What you mean?
Shut up.
So what do you like to do? What you get?
Exactly.
But another thing too, when you have, like, from a female standpoint, when you have the immature male,